Alright guys, it's Sunday evening. My body's on the frame. I got this bolt started and I got the very rear bolt started back here. There's 3 broke off in the trunk, so I need to roll the body up here, weld nuts to them to get them out. I was going to go ahead and put all the other body mounts in, but or body mount bolts in, but I'm getting kind of hungry, so I think I'm going to go ahead and quit for the night. I'll have to go to work next week, or tomorrow, and then all week, so if I don't do anything in the evening times when I come in from work, I'll definitely work on it this weekend. But it is now on a new chassis. Well, new old chassis, I guess. But anyway, I'm happy. That thing is it'll actually roll now. I went ahead and I just moved the Century back in. I went ahead and lifted its body up on one side and climbed under there and took the fuel line off. It was kind of a mess, but I did it. So I got all the fuel line off the Century and actually bolted it on all the factory location on this frame. So I now have a 3/8 fuel line. So I'm happy. I'm real happy about that. Now that Century actually had a return line on this side of the chassis that went over there, but I'm not going to mess with it because I'm putting an external electric fuel pump on it. So I'm not going to mess with the return. But anyway, that's pretty awesome. It's now back as a roller. Pretty freaking happy. That was actually pretty simple. The fuel line was the biggest holdup for me, you know, trying to get the Century out. And what's funny is I use my impact gun, air impact, to take the body mounts out of the Century because I didn't care if they broke. I usually do them by hand with a 1/2-inch drag ratchet, and I do it real easy, and if it starts getting tight, I'll tighten it back up and you know, loosen it off until it feels tight again, like it's going to break, and then I'll tighten it up again. So it usually takes a while. That car, I just didn't give a shit. I was like, hell with it. If they break, they break, and not one of those body mount bolts broke. I cannot believe it. I'll tell you one thing that I think is kind of funny. This car, when I took the body mount bolts out, it did not have bolts in the center of the rocker here. It had the rubber cushion piece like back up in here. You know, there was no bolt that goes in there. It's just a cushion that sets on, and they had that there. So after I got the chassis out from under it and looked, the nut plates are in the body, and they still actually look like gray paint on them, like they, you know, you could tell where a bolt's never been in. So I'm actually going to use them. I went ahead and put the correct body mount on with a hole in it so I could go ahead and put a bolt in it. That had to be pretty squishy, I would imagine, this car, the way it drove. You know, I don't have a lot of experience with 78 to 80 cars. 81 and up is what I'm mostly versed in, on body and chassis swaps and stuff, or, you know, taking chassis out from under them. But anyway, that was a first for me. Now the Century actually had all the bolts in it. It had a bolt there. So I don't know what's up with this car, unless it was just a mess up on the assembly line. Maybe they ran out of bolts and just decided to do a cushion. Hell, I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, I'm putting a bolt in it. So our baby kitten we had, my wife just got back a little bit ago. Took it to its new forever home. She met a lady at her work the other day that one of her friends actually has been looking for a kitten, so it worked out good. It found a forever home, and she's going to go ahead and finish the bottle feeding until it gets weaned and all that stuff. So it worked out good for us, because I tell you, that's a lot of work with a kitten that's not weaned. You have to feed it about every 2 to 4 hours, and we took turns daily. Like last night was my day. I slept in our spare bedroom with that kitten and woke up every few hours to feed it. And you know, when you feed it, you take a wet paper towel that's warm and you actually rub it underneath its rear end back there, and it'll make it pee. And it was like instantly, when you start doing that, you know, just like the mama kitty licking on it back there, and it just pee on that paper towel. It was pretty cool. And then every once in a while you get a little brown surprise out of the butthole back there, if you know what I mean. So stink, holy smoke, man. Kitten pee and poop is the nastiest smelling stuff. So we're both kind of wore out from bottle feeding that cat for, you know, the last few days. But anyway, it's gone to its new forever home, and we're both a little sad about it. I gotta tell you, I got a little attached to that little guy. So Hated to see him go, but you know, we're dog people, and the lady that got the cat is a cat person, so it's gonna work out pretty freaking good for both parties, you know. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much the update. I need to finish cleaning up out here because I got a giant mess out here. There's a house beside me for sale, and they had an open house today, and I'm out here right beside it doing this body swap stuff, so oh, that's pretty hilarious. Not something you want to move next door to, you know what I mean? But I mean, hell, ain't nothing I can do about it. It's just what I do. This is what I do. So I started doing the motor mounts on this from the Century. Those were a pain in the ass. Trying to get to them from underneath with the extension and a swivel and use the impact gun, man. So it was such a mess. I'm gonna wait to finish putting all the bolts and nuts in until I get the A-arms off. Now I may rebuild the front end of this on this next week. That's probably what I'll do. I kind of would like to do the floorboard in the car, get it all cleaned, the rust repair fixed, and pour 15 put on, and then rebuild the front end. That would be, it's actually a pretty tall order to try to do in 2 days, but I am going to try it next weekend, so, and then that'll be done. And then I'll concentrate on the firewall. You know, I need to get some holes welded up and some other stuff fixed on it, get the wiper motor piece put on, all that shit. But anyway, guys, that's your update for Sunday evening, and I am done.